Before we begin, let me ask you something serious. How is it possible that farmers in the Amazon rainforest, working without tractors, chemicals, electricity or synthetic fertilizer, manage to grow food on some of the poorest soil on Earth for thousands of years, while modern agriculture now depends on constant chemical inputs just to survive one season? How did people living 2,000 years ago create soil that is still fertile today, while our fields lose nutrients year after year? And why is this knowledge still missing from most farming manuals? What you are about to hear is not speculation. It is supported by archaeology, soil science, and living examples that still exist in the Amazon basin today. Long before Europeans arrived, indigenous communities created a soil so rich, stable and productive that scientists are still trying to copy it. They called it nothing special. Today, researchers call it Terra Preta, or Black Earth. And it may be the most important forgotten agricultural technology in human history. How the Amazon's worst soil became the world's most productive farmland. The natural soil of the Amazon is notoriously poor. It is thin, acidic, and easily washed away by rain. Without constant organic input, crops fail quickly. This is why early European explorers assumed large civilizations could never have existed there. They were wrong. Scattered across the rainforest are deep black patches of soil, sometimes stretching for miles. These areas contain massive amounts of carbon, organic matter, pottery fragments and nutrients. Crops grown in this soil grow faster, resist disease, and need little to no fertilizer. Carbon dating shows many of these soils are over 2,000 years old, and they are still fertile today. That alone should stop any serious historian or farmer in their tracks. Why, you might wonder, did charcoal become the foundation of a permanent soil system? Well, the core ingredient of Terra Preta is charcoal, created through low-temperature burning of wood in low oxygen conditions. These days we call it biochar. Ancient Amazonians produced it intentionally and mixed it into their fields. Now, charcoal is not fertilizer. It actually does something more important. It acts as a permanent storage system inside the soil. Its microscopic pores hold water, nutrients, bacteria and fungi. Instead of washing away, minerals stay locked in place. Microorganisms thrive. Roots grow deeper. Soil structure improves year after year instead of degrading. Once charcoal enters the soil, it remains active for centuries. That, my friends, is why these fields never wore out. But, you see, charcoal alone was not enough. Indigenous farmers layered their fields with food scraps, fish bones, animal remains, crop waste, and even broken pottery. The pottery served a purpose too. Clay fragments helped regulate moisture and provided surfaces for microbes to colonize. Organic waste fed bacteria and fungi. Ash supplied minerals. Manure added nitrogen. Everything was recycled. Nothing was wasted. Over decades, this created a living soil ecosystem that regenerated itself continuously. Modern compost, well, it lasts a few years. Terra Preta, on the other hand, lasts forever. So, why did this knowledge vanish after European contact? Well, when Europeans arrived, disease wiped out up to 90% of indigenous populations within just a few generations. Entire farming systems disappeared. Forests reclaimed abandoned fields. Oral knowledge was lost. Later, settlers assumed the soil was naturally fertile. They never understood it was engineered. By the time scientists rediscovered Terra Preta in the 20th century, industrial agriculture had already taken over. Chemical fertilizer had become dominant. Short-term yield replaced long-term soil health. There was simply no financial incentive to promote a system that eliminated repeat purchases. So it stayed buried in academic journals. You know, modern science is now confirming what ancient farmers already knew. These days, soil researchers have found that Terra Preta actually contains up to 3 times more organic carbon than the soils around it. It holds on to nutrients for much longer, supports a greater abundance of microbial life, and, well, it even resists erosion and drought. In various test plots, crops grown in soil inspired by Terra Preta consistently outperform those in conventional soils, and that's without any synthetic inputs. This isn't just a theory, it's measurable, and it works in every climate. So, how can you begin building Terra Preta-style soil right at home? Well, you certainly do not need the Amazon to apply this system. What you do need is, honestly, just patience and consistency. Start by producing clean charcoal from untreated wood using low-oxygen methods like pit burns or sealed drums. After that, crush it into small pieces. The next step is to soak it in compost tea, manure slurry, or even a liquid fertilizer before applying it. Because, you see, raw charcoal absorbs nutrients and must be charged first. Then mix it into your garden beds at around 10 to 20% by volume. Add your kitchen scraps, leaves, grass clippings and compost on a regular basis. It's important to avoid synthetic chemicals that kill microbes. Over time, your soil will darken, loosen and retain moisture. After several seasons, you'll notice fewer pests, stronger plants and a reduced need for feeding. This is, you might say, slow agriculture. But it is permanent. Why does this system matter in a world of rising costs and failing soil? Well, fertilizer prices rise every single year. Topsoil disappears, water becomes scarce, crops become weaker. Farmers, unfortunately, become dependent. Terra Preta breaks that cycle. It turns waste into wealth. It turns soil into infrastructure. It turns land into a long-term asset rather than just a disposable tool. For survivalists, it means food security. For homesteaders, it means independence. For historians, it proves that advanced ecological engineering existed long before modern science. Our ancestors were not primitive. They were, in fact, precise. So, what does this forgotten technology teach us about real sustainability? Well, sustainability is not about buying new products. It is about designing systems that simply do not collapse. The people who built Terra Preta thought in centuries, not just seasons. They did not farm against nature. They partnered with it. And honestly, that mindset is what we have lost. If you rebuild your soil this way, you are not just copying a trend. You are restoring a proven civilization-scale technology. That, truly, is real resilience. Here are some final thoughts for those who value forgotten knowledge. This black soil survived empires, disease, deforestation, and time itself. It is, quite remarkably, still feeding people 2,000 years later. That should humble every modern farmer and every policymaker. If this knowledge matters to you, if you believe old wisdom deserves preservation, and if you want practical skills that actually work, then stay with this channel. Subscribe, Share this with someone who still works the land and help keep this history alive. Because once this knowledge disappears again, it may never return.